Oh, you fucking weeb. Sup, man? I totally didn't see it because I've got it covered. And I was like, oh god, what if somebody speaks? How are things, ethanol? Where was it? There's my code. Completely ignoring me. I couldn't see your message. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just ignoring you. Get with the fucking picture, man. Good. You got new apartment with the girlfriend moving in next. Got a new apartment with the girlfriend moving in next week. Nice. Congrats, man. All right, there we go. Let's make sure. Let's take a quick look at our levels. Sweet. All right, give me a second here. Let me record this. Now that we have the interact method created, let's add in a static mesh and a U box component that's going to be a trigger for us. So we're going to do that right here under protected. We're going to do U property. Actually, we can just copy this here because this is kind of what we want anyways. And we're going to say class T object pointer. And then it's going to be U static mesh component. And we're going to call it door mesh. Then we're also going to need one more here. So I'm just going to copy and paste since it's mostly the same. Then we're going to do U box component. And we're going to call this one door trigger. There we go. Now we'll need one other thing here, and we're going to need a U function for us to bind to the on begin overlap that we're going to use the door trigger for. So we're going to come down here to protected, and I'm just going to do this just below begin play here. So this will be a U function. Because we're binding it, it does need to be a U function. And then we're going to give it the class of void on begin overlap event. And this is going to take a number of arguments. It's going to be a U primitive component, and it's going to be a pointer, and it's going to be the overlapped component. Then we also need an actor component. Or sorry, an actor, and it's going to be other actor. Then we've got another primitive component, which would be the other component. We need the body index, the sweep. Most of this we're not going to use, and this wraps up everything that we need. And then we will just come here and generate the definition. And let's add these in up here. Oops, a little bit higher than where I had it. Because it doesn't like it with that being what it is. U box component. There we go. And now we can get rid of the class. All right. And now, since this is being generated, all we want to do here is actually just call this interact here. So interact, and then we'll pass in the other actor. And that's all this needs to do here. And then in the initializer for the door, right, we're just going to add in the scene component. We're going to add in a scene component as the root, and then we're going to create the door mesh and then create the trigger. So to do that, it's just going to be, we're going to call it root component. And then we're going to use create default subobject. And this is going to be a U scene component. We're going to give it the name of scene component. Then we're going to set root component to the root component. Okay, and this can really be named anything that you want. And then we're going to have a door mesh. We're going to create the door mesh, sorry. And again, create default subobject. And this is going to be a U static mesh component. Text door frame. Or door mesh, depending on what you want. So let's call it door mesh just to keep with consistency. Okay, and then this we're going to attach to the root component here. So this would be door mesh set up attachment to root component. Then we've got the door trigger. And the door trigger is going to be create default subobject again. And here we're just going to use uBox component. And it's going to import the component box component here. It should do that automatically or prompt you to do it. If it doesn't, you'll need to type it in manually. And then we're going to give it a text, and it's going to be door trigger. And now we need to add the door trigger to the attached components. So I'm going to do it on the root component here, and then they'll sit next to each other. We'll need to resize it anyways. And then we'll need to do the overlap, which will be door trigger, and then it will be on component begin overlap dot add dynamic. Now, because this is a delegate, right, we can use the dot operator because it's not a pointer, it's an actual reference directly. And then here we're going to say this, which is who's calling it essentially. And then we're going to give it the begin overlap event that we created earlier. And this here requires that it takes certain arguments in, and that's why we had this long list of arguments that we're not actually going to be using. Also, why we're creating this little buffer, because if we wanted to, we could create this as a public method and have it called from anywhere. Whereas if we had it here, we'd have to pass in all this extra information that's irrelevant to what's going on. Okay, so now if we run this, when we come in, we can set up a blueprint that has everything in it that we need and have that trigger as we walk through the door. Sorry here. Completely ignore me. Thank you. Gotta find a place where my Canadian flag needs to go in the office. Always good times. All right, let's close that. I'm gonna come into here, go to third party blueprints. We're gonna delete this. Force delete. Save all. Okay. Hit cancel. Okay, so now that the editor is open, we'll just want to come in, we'll go to third-party blueprints, and we're just going to right-click and create a new blueprint class. From here, we're going to type in door, and it's going to pop up with IT door base, which is what we've called ours. We're going to select that, just click select, and then we'll call it blueprint, so BP, and then we're going to call it door. And then we can open this up, and when we open it up, we'll have all of like the door mesh, the door trigger, and all of that already set. So what we can do is we can come up here. I've already imported a door and set it up. So if there's a door that you want, feel free to bring that in. Or you can just really be any object you want. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this up here so it's about halfway, and then I'm going to resize it to fit the area that we want. This looks about good for my door. We can compile and save. Now, if I just drag this here door directly into the editor, or sorry, the world, we can hit play. And as we walk through the door, you'll see that our begin overlap is changing between the different objects, or sorry, the different states. And everything just works. All right. Well, thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. and comment if you have any suggestions for future videos. All right, thank you. Bye-bye. All right, let's get editing now. How goes the house hunt? Sup, Jack? Okay, so now that the editor is open, we'll just want to come in, we'll go to third-party blueprints, and we're just going to right-click and create. The party people are all here. From here, we're going to type in door. Oh, this is not the one that we wanted. This is just the outro. Now that we have the interact method created, let's add in a static mesh and a U box component that's going to be a trigger for us. So we're going to do that right here under protected. We're going to do U property. Actually, we can just copy this here because this is kind of what we want anyways. And we're going to say class T object pointer. And then it's going to be U static mesh component. And we're going to call it door mesh. Then we're also going to need one more here. So I'm just going to do box component, and we're going to call this one door trigger. There we go. Now we'll need one other thing here, and we're going to need a U function for us to bind to the onBegin overlap that we're going to use the door trigger for. So we're going to come down here to protect it. I'm just going to do this just below begin play here. This will be a U function because we're binding it. It does need to be a U function, and then we're going to give it the class of void on begin overlap event. And this is going to take a number of arguments. It's going to be a U primitive component, and it's going to be a pointer, and it's going to be the overlapped component. Then we also need an actor component. Sorry, an actor, and it's going to be other actor. Then we've got another primitive component, which would be the other component. We need the body index, the sweep. Most of this we're not going to use, and this wraps up everything that we need. And then we will just come here and generate the definition. And let's add these in up here. Oops, a little bit higher than where I had it, because it doesn't like it with that being what it is. U box component. There we go. And now we can get rid of the class. All right, and now since this is being generated, all we want to do here is actually just call this interact here. So interact, and then we'll pass in the other actor, and that's all this needs to do here. And then in the initializer for the door, right, we're just going to add in the scene component. We're going to add in a scene component as the root, and then we're going to create the door mesh and then create the trigger. So to do that, it's just going to be, we're going to call it root component, and we're going to use create default subobject. And this is going to be a U scene component. We're going to give it the name of scene component. Then we're going to set root component to the root component. Okay. And this can really be named anything that you want. And then we're going to have a door mesh. We're going to create the door mesh, sorry. And again, create default subobject. And this is going to be a U static mesh component. Text door frame. Or door mesh, depending on what you want. So let's call it door mesh, just keep with consistency. Okay. And then this we're going to attach to the root component here. So this would be door mesh set up attachment to root component. Then we've got the door trigger. And the door trigger is going to be create default subobject again. And here we're just going to use U box component. And it's going to import the component box component here. It should do that automatically or prompt you to do it. If it doesn't, you'll need to type it in manually. And then we're going to give it a text, and it's going to be door trigger. And now we need to add the door trigger to the attached components. So I'm going to do it on the root component here, and then they'll sit next to each other. We'll need to resize it anyways. And then we'll need to do the overlap, which will be door trigger, and then it will be on component begin overlap dot add dynamic. Now, because this is a delegate, right, we can use the dot operator because it's not a pointer, it's an actual reference directly. And then here we're going to say this, which is who's calling it essentially, and then we're going to give it the begin overlap event that we created earlier. And this here requires that it takes certain arguments in, and that's why we had this long list of arguments that we're not actually going to be using. Also, why we're creating this little buffer, because if we wanted to, we could create this as a public method and have it called from anywhere. Whereas if we had it here, we'd have to pass in all this extra information that's irrelevant to what's going on. Okay, so now if we run this, when we come in, we can set up a blueprint that has everything in it that we need and have that trigger as we walk through the door. Okay, so now that the editor is open, we'll just want to come in. We'll go to third party. Between the different objects, or sorry, the different states, and everything just works. All right. Well, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. Comment if you have any suggestions. Enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. For watching, and if you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe, and comment if you have any suggestions for future videos. All right, thank you. Bye-bye. Beautiful. Okay, so we have one more video that we need to set up. It's going to be super quick. And it's just going to be this. And I'm going to make this like super short. All right, let's get the notes out. So how's everybody doing today? Anybody getting up to anything interesting or fun? Okay, so now that the editor is open, we'll just want to come in, we'll go to third-party blueprints, and we're just going to right-click and create a new blueprint class. From here, we're going to type in door, and it's going to pop up with and then different objects, or sorry, the different states, and everything just works. Everybody, today we're going to go over enubs and Unreal Engine, C++. Now let's jump right into it. We're going to start by creating the interact method. We're going to start by creating the interact method. We're going to do that down here in protected. So it'll be void interact, and we're going to have it pass in a actor pointer of the interacting actor. And what we're not going to use it here, it's useful for future endeavors. That way you can say, hey, is the interacting actor the player or an AI or whatever in the future. All right, so let's just generate that in our CPP file. And now the next thing that we'll want to do is actually create the enum and start populating things. So we're going to start with a enum, give it a blueprint type. Okay, and then we will give it, then it'll be enum, and then class door state, and it will be of type uint 8, because it's always uint 8 in Unreal. If you're using regular C++, you don't have to use a uint 8. You can use a uint of any size. You do want to stick with a uint, which is an unsigned int, meaning that it can't go below 0, but it can go up to a much higher number. So 8 to the power of 2, which is minus 1, which is 255. All right, so we'll start by naming out the different states that we want to be able to put our door in. So we've got closed, right? We have opened, so open. We have open in, closing. And that's really the only 4 states that I can think of at the moment. All right, so if we want to assign these very specific values, we can, right? Like we can do 1, right, 0. We could do a hexadecimal one. In this case here, because in an upcoming video I want to go over bit flags, I'm going to start by just giving these a binary representation of the number that I want them to be, so it's easier to visualize later. So I'm going to use 0b for binary, and we're going to give it 4 decimal places because it's easy to remember. It's easy to visualize 4 decimal places for what we've got here. That means that the first decimal place will always be a 0. Just find it looks a little bit cleaner. Then we'll come over here, 1, and 0b0010. Let's give this one more space. Then we're going to do, yeah. Okay, so you can see where this is kind of going, right? The 0 bit here will always be closed. If 1 is set, it'll be open. If 2 is set, it will be opening. And if 4 is set, it will be closing. All right. So let's also give these meaningful names so we can actually pull directly from it and not just have to remember, hey, this is closing, this is opening kind of thing. Like if we want to be able to just print out what it is and we don't know, we can just have it to print the actual display name, right? So we're going to use a umeta display name. So umeta the display name equals closed. You'll notice that it's auto-populating some of this stuff for me. That's just because I've installed ChatGPT, or sorry, Copilot. Right? And we can just copy and paste these in, right? Now we'll just change these to their meaningful names that we wanted to give them. And then what we can do is we can also just give this a the name here, right? So this would be 0, right? This one here would be, this one here would be 1, and this one would be 2, and this one would be 4, being the binary numbers. And what this allows us to do is if we take 2 and 4 and we add them together, we get 6, which is represented by 0, 1, 1, 0, right? So we can do binary bitwise, what's called bitwise operators on them later. Like I said, we'll get to that more a little bit in the next video. All right, so we're going to put these in protected. And we don't actually need to be able to access these from blueprints, so we can forego having a U property attached to them and stuff like that. But if we wanted to, we could do U property. You might as well edit anywhere. Blueprint, read write, and we can give it the category of door. Now we would need an E door state, right? And this is setting the type, and then we're going to call it door state, and then we're going to redefine it as E. We can do this though. E door state closed. Right? Now it will default to closed. If you needed to have the door start open, we could set it to open here as well. Or if you wanted to set it at a specific angle and have it set to opening or closing, we could do that as well. So we're going to start it with closed because that makes the most sense for what we're doing. And here we can see how this is starting to work, right? So we use the eDoor state, right? Which is and then because this is a class property, right? We use the double colons rather than the arrow or the dot. And then we just say, hey, which one do we want? Do we want closed state? Do we want open state? Do we want opening or closing state? Now these can change, right? Like I could change this to be 0 and 1, and now anything that's flagged as eDoor state closing automatically switches from being 4 to being 8. And that's just the integer in question, right? So we leave it at closing, and then we can come over here to the interact, and what we're going to do is say, if the door is open, right, and we interact with it, we want it to go to closing. If it's closed, we want it to go to opening. If it's opening, we want it to be switched to open when it's finished and closed when it's finished with the closing state, right? So what we can do to make this easier, instead of having a bunch of different if statements, what we can do is we can do what's called a switch, all right? And what this does is it just says, hey, which one of it is are we in? And it only does one check and then jumps to a position in memory. So we can do switch, and then it will be door state, and, oh, sorry, not eDoor state, door state, right? And switches here, you need to use an integer, and that's why we're going to use an enum. It's one of the reasons why we can use an enum here. So here we're going to say switch door state, and then we do case, and then we give it the case that we want to look for. In this case, we're going to say eDoor state closed, and then we use a colon instead of braces for this. And it's very important that we add a break, because if we don't add a break here, what will happen is it will cascade down to the next one, right? And we can see how this would work here if we say open, right? Now, if we didn't have the break and we did something like this, door state equals eDoor state opening, right? Then we didn't have this break, and then we did door state, door state equals e door state. Oh, sorry, this would be opening. The other one would be closing. My bad. Oh, no, this would be opening. Sorry, this one would be closing. No. Anyways, so if we didn't have a break like I've got here, like what we have right here, what would happen is if we came in and door state was equal to closed, it would execute an update to opening, and then it would also execute an update to closing. And then by the time we got down here, and to the end here and finished running this, we would be in the closing state, even though that's not where we want to be. We want to be in the opening state. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a break. Another thing that we could do here is add a return, but that would exit out as soon as we hit the return, and we'd no longer be in the interact function anymore. And what we want to do is add a print to the end of this, so it prints to the screen our current state. So to do that, we're going to use a break, which says, hey, leave the switch, we're done. You can do the same with a for loop or an if statement. You can break, and it exits the current scoping. Okay, so here we're going to say e door state opening, and then door state will equal to e door state open. Case e door state closing. We'll then do e door state equals e door state closed. And again, we want to make sure that we have this. And then if we had other states that we could possibly be in, we would want to have a default. And we can do that just by this. And then we put any logic that we wanted here. And then if our door is in any state that's not that, then we would run it here. But since there's only 4 states that we can ever be in, we're safe to do this. Okay. Hang on. So we're going to start with a and put these in that more a little bit in the next video. Right. And we have now we need door state, right? Instead of all state. And we'll do e door state. And now we'll follow that you have or maybe that's we're start with the here we have our door state, right? Which and is right? We're double have there and then e a okay. Now e x e 1. Now n n one is e from 14 as usual. So we then for here. Here what human so that was so was so if the So now we want to add in the on-screen debugging. So that's going to be G engine. And we're going to use a pointer here because G engine is going to be, G engine is a pointer, so we're going to use the arrow key, the arrow notation. And then we'll do add on screen debug message, sorry. And then we have a couple variables here. The first one will be the index of where we where we want it to be on the screen kind of thing, like the layer. So we're going to do -1, so it's always on top. Then it needs a time to display. We're going to say 4 milliseconds. And 5 milliseconds, and then we're going to give it a color. In this case, this isn't a error, so red is not appropriate. Let's give it something like, I'm going to use yellow. Yellow is usually reserved for warnings, but in this case, let's just use yellow because it stands out a little bit more on our current backdrop. Now, we're going to do string, and then again, because we're accessing a static property or class property, we don't need an instance of it. We can use the double colons. We're going to do printf, and now printf gives us 2 values. We're going to pass into 2 arguments. Sorry, we're going to pass in text of door state. and then %s for string. Okay, and then we're going to dereference an enum get, sorry, I have to do that, a enum get value as string. And then we're going to pass in door state because that's our enum, and then just add the colon there. Now that we have the interact method created, let's add in a static mesh and a uBox component that's going to be a trigger for us. So we're going to do that right here under protected. We're going to do u property. Actually, we can just copy this here because this is kind of what we want anyways. And we're going to say class t object pointer, and then it's going to be u static mesh component, and we're going to call it door mesh. Then we're also going to need one more here, so I'm just going to copy and paste since it's mostly the same. And we're going to do uBox component, and we're going to call this one door trigger. There we go. Now we'll need one other thing here, and we're going to need a u function for us to bind to the on begin overlap that we're going to use the door trigger for. So we're going to come down here to protected. I'm just going to do this just below begin play here. This will be a u function because we're binding it. It does need to be a u function, and then we're going to give it the class of void on begin overlap event, and this is going to take a number of arguments. It's going to be a u primitive component, and it's going to be a pointer, and it's going to be the overlapped component. Then we also need an actor component. Sorry, an actor, and it's going to be other actor. Then we've got another primitive component, which would be the other component. We need the body index, the sweep. Most of this we're not going to use, and this wraps up everything that we need. And then we will just come here and generate the definition. And let's add these in up here. Oops, a little bit higher than where I had it, because it doesn't like it with that being what it is. New box component. There we go. And now we can get rid of the class. All right, and now since this is being generated, all we want to do here is actually just call this interact here. So interact, and then we'll pass in the other actor, and that's all this needs to do here. And then in the initializer for the door, right, we're just going to add in the scene component. We're going to add in a scene component as the root, and then we're going to create the door mesh and then create the trigger. So to do that, it's just going to be, we're going to call it root component, and then we're going to use create default subobject, and this is going to be a u scene component. We're going to give it the name of scene component. Then we're going to set root component to the root component. Okay, and this can really be named anything that you want. And then we're going to have a door mesh. We're going to create the door mesh, sorry, and again, create default subobject, and this is going to be a u static mesh component, text door frame, or door mesh, depending on what you want. So let's call it door mesh, just to keep with consistency. Okay, and then this we're going to attach to the root component here. So this would be door mesh set up attachment to root component. Then we've got the door trigger, and the door trigger is going to be create default subobject again. And here we're just going to use uBox component. And it's going to import the component box component here. It should do that automatically or prompt you to do it. If it doesn't, you'll need to type it in manually. And then we're going to give it a text, and it's going to be door trigger. And now we need to add the door trigger to the attached components. So I'm going to do it on the root component here, and then they'll sit next to each other. We'll need to resize it anyways. And then we'll need to do the overlap, which will be door trigger, and then it will be on component begin overlap dot add dynamic. Now, because this is a delegate, right, we can use the dot operator because it's not a pointer, it's an actual reference directly. And then here we're going to say this, which is who's calling it essentially, and then we're going to give it the begin overlap event that we created earlier. And this here requires that it takes certain arguments in, and that's why we had this long list of arguments that we're not actually going to be using. Also, why we're creating this little buffer, because if we wanted to, we could create this as a public method and have it called from anywhere. Whereas if we had it here, we'd have to pass in all this extra information that's irrelevant to what's going on. Okay, so now if we run this, when we come in, we can set up a blueprint that has everything in it that we need and have that trigger as we walk through the door. Okay, so now that the editor is open, we'll just want to come in, we'll go to third-party blueprints, and we're just going to right-click and create a new blueprint class. From here, we're going to type in door, and it's going to pop up with IT door base, which is what we called ours. We're going to select that, just click select, and then we'll call it blueprint, so BP, and then we're going to call it door. And then we can open this up, and when we open it up, we'll have all of like the door mesh, the door trigger, and all of that already set. So what we can do is we can come up here. I've already imported a door and set it up. So if there's a door that you want, feel free to bring that in, or you can just really be any object you want. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this up here so it's about halfway, and then I'm going to resize it to fit the area that we want. This looks about good for my door. We can compile and save. Now, if I just drag this here door directly into the editor, or sorry, the world, and hit play, and as we walk through the door, you'll see that our begin overlap is changing between the different objects, or sorry, the different states, and everything just works. All right, well, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe, and comment if you have any suggestions for future videos. All right, thank you, bye-bye. All right. Now we need one more video, and that one's because this one will go out on Wednesday, and I want to make a couple for like maybe Monday, something like that to tease the upcoming video. Essentially, I'm gonna create a bunch of shorts. I think. Shorts actually take a surprising amount of time to make, but it can be worth it. Interesting. What is, you've got to explain a YouTube short bot to me. What is a YouTube short bot? Explain to me how this one works. No, I get that, but like how? Like what's it what exactly does it do? So does it take an existing YouTube video and turn it into a number of shorts, or is there like how do you put like what you want, how you want it edited and stuff like that, right? Like is it entirely automated? Is it mostly automated? Partially? Like I want details. Details. Part of me wants to do more shorts, but part of me also doesn't at the same time, right? Title automated, I use Python and MoviePy and uploads uploads it to YouTube. Hmm. This Unreal Engine C++. In this Unreal Engine C++. I don't know how much use that's going to get, to be honest. Not because it's bad, but because a lot of people don't want, like, computers aren't super great at getting. Hmm. Oh, Ethanol went to play Minecraft. What a fucker. I didn't know that. That's actually kind of funny. Okay, so now we need an image for this.
Hi everyone and welcome to a new episode in my Snack Science series. Narration, what do sets of these? So you want to go on add new list. So I'm going to put one in as red, this one as amber. So
I don't like the clickbaitiness of this. Let's see, what would it be under? I think it's miscellaneous, right? Or is it blueprints? Enumeration. want to say white. So how many times have you hit that upload limit? Like, how long did it take you to figure out that they only allow 100 videos a day? What's up, Cervantes? You gonna be live? Should give yourself a shout out. Wait, what am I doing? Can I? Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Everybody, today we're going to go over it looks a little here is out of so I'm going to do it one. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this up here so it's about halfway, and then I'm going to resize it to there we go. Beautiful. I think this one was substantially Hey everybody, quieter. Today we'll be going over the basics of how to use yeah, it was a little bit quieter. Anyways. Beautiful. Let's get this scheduled for next week. Is noon 12 a.m. or there we go. PM. I was thinking that it was PM, but okay, so we've got a little bit of time here. What we're going to do is we're going to create one more video. We're going to try and create one more video today. And it's going to be a quick blow through of all of the stuff, like essentially like a really quick, this is an enum. Where is, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to copy this out so I have it as a full reference. We're just going to recreate it now, essentially here. And we're going to record that real quick. How fast can I type this? Okay, let's do this super fast. All right, so we're just going to go like this. So we've got just this section here. This is going to be a really fast little thing here. Let's get out this. This is good. Works. Okay. Let's do a recording real quick. Not, it's not populating over here. I guess like, yeah, there we go. Actually, I should probably, how do you switch between timelines? Oh, there they are. Sweet. Okay, how long is this? This is 20 seconds, right? Do, 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 do. Actually, I should probably stop and redo this. Edit. (1080 by 1920). uh, solve create key. Alt K.
What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is good to see you here again. So, if you've been around video editing for any length of time, you've probably heard of keyframes, and you might not be sure what's a keyframe, what does it do, how do I use them? I don't know, give me some info. So that's what we're gonna talk about in this video. It's gonna be keyframe basics, just your basic principles about what keyframes are and how to use them. But hey, if you're new here, my name is Jay, and on this channel we talk a lot about DaVinci Resolve, a little bit of photography, and even some gear stuff, because everybody loves some gear stuff, right? So if you're into any of those, consider subscribing to my channel. All right, let's jump into this video.
Add keyframe. Control. Okay, that's easy. Damn it. Now we need to find a video. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Bum, bum, ba, da, ba, 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 ba. Okay, so what were we up to here? This. Uh, Technology. I guess I don't know. Do we actually care about making making this? I don't know. I don't I don't know if I care. Yeah, you know what? I don't really want to make shorts. Right now, at least. Let's see, I guess the next video has to be on bit operators. I'll be right back. All right. I think I know what I want to do for the rest of the night. Let's take a quick break because I don't really want to jump into this at the moment. So I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to jump over to art and take a break from programming. Boo, boo, boo. All right, sculpting practice. Do we redo our Bulbasaur, Charmander, and whatnot? This is actually a generator? No, I don't want a generator. Random number. What is... How many Pokemon are there currently? That's so many. Okay, so question is, actually, let's see. Is Cervantes live? Oh yeah, he is. Where is Carbon? Ah, screw it. Okay, our random number generator is 151 because we only care about the new Pokemon. 41. What is Pokemon 41? Zubat. Mm. Do, 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 do. What does the back of a Zubat look like? Okay, what's the back of a Zubat? Zubat. Okay, yeah, that's easy enough. Uh, oh yeah, that's easy enough to do. Okay. Let's just move this over here. Sup? Wait, what was I doing? No, it was... No. Oh god, everything's weird. I can't remember how to use this anymore. Checking out my stream for the first time? Oh my god. Oh, you're gonna be in so much hate right now. This is not normally what I do. Wait, I feel like these should probably be bumped out. How have you been, by the way? It's been like forever since we chatted. Whose stream were we on when we met, by the way? I can't remember. Yeah, I forget now. I'm a horrible person sometimes, you know. Actually, I don't like this idea. Let's do this a bit differently. We'll do this more properly, maybe. There we go. We're back in there's the head, right? And then we'll go to subtools and duplicate. Bring this down like so. And then we're going to duplicate again, bring this one up here, shrink it down like so. There. Mm. There we go. There, and then we'll duplicate again. I'm gonna bring this one down here like so. That kind of seems about right. Okay, let's come back up here. And we're going to bring in this. Geometry. Dynamesh. There we go. BCB. So animated. Did you wanna or Rose? What should I call you? What should I call you? Rose or animated, or do you have something else that you'd like me to call you? Rose is fine. Sweet. So you missed it. I was making a YouTube tutorial earlier, but we actually ended up wrapping it up. So you missed that. We were covering enums and whatnot, so I finally finished it. But that won't go live until Wednesday. And then tomorrow I'm going to do the next bit of it, and it's going to be on bit flags. But the last tutorial is up. Which is the enhanced input system. I think I also followed you. Yeah, I'm following you. Sweet. Bring back up the Zubat. I should probably like copy this image here. Copy image address. You stopped by one of my streams. I did. I barely remember. So much is always going on, right? It can be hard to remember these things. Oh yeah, I think the day after or something like that. I don't remember. Whose stream did we meet in again? At any rate, let's do this really quickly. That's right. Thank you for the reminder. Okay, so we just want to make this a little bit pointier here. We're going to give that a little bit more shape. Like that. You get to see me painfully doing this this sculpting thing for a change. Houdini is though my polymodeling app of choice, as we were talking about the other day. It's a great tool. Favorite tool. Love that tool. Okay, I think that ear looks about right. What do you think? I think I need to come in a bit more on the side here. And maybe come up just a bit more here. Like this. I'm so happy this didn't end up being like a particularly difficult Pokemon to sculpt. Because if it did, I don't think I'd finish it today. And I kind of want to finish it before I go see the new Spider-Man movie. Hey, I should also... Here we go. He was here earlier. Yeah, gonna go see it. It's kind of downstairs for me. Maybe I should delete this one. I don't know. This one seems like I don't really need it if I just elongate this body. Right? Like if I kind of bring this down. I want to see it. Yeah, it looks I've heard good things about it. Arkham said that it was quite good, so I'm inclined to believe him. Okay, so what we want to do is probably come out like this. Do a BMV. Big move. There. Let's look at this from the front now. There we go. We want to bring this in here on the side, and we want to make a little bit of a pinch. So we'll bring this in here, like so, on the side here. And then this is coming out a bit too much. It's kind of peanut-like, right? There, and then we'll massage his back down a bit. There we go. Let's pinch this a little bit more in the back like so. There we go. There, and then let's bring in his mouth. And up the geometry here. I think we're a little bit too shallow for what we're working on. There we go. BCB. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Just a little bit more there. Okay, now if we bring this here in, we can do his mouth a little bit better. We need to like come way the fuck up here. Yeah, this is definitely not going to be good. There we go. There we go. Let's add an ear in. Come up like so. It's starting to come together, right? So how's your Friday going, Rose? You having a good Friday? There we go. Maybe a little bit more right here to make his head a bit rounder. Yeah, and then smooth this out a little bit more because it's pretty small, the amount that it goes in. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. And then we'll build this up just a bit. And then here. There we go. Yeah, that looks good. Or no, wait. What if I do BIN? Yeah, what if we just inflate? Something like that. God, I don't know how I'm going to do the wings. God. Actually, wait. What am I doing? Hmm. Okay. Okay, there we go. I know. I'm in one of the worst apps ever made. Oh, okay. I thought we were going to bash on ZBrush for a moment here. I got confused. I'm sorry. I promise I won't be mean, Pseudo. Don't convince me otherwise. Oh wait, that's not what I wanted. There we go. I just wish that ZBrush was easier to use. Oops. It is actually the most difficult 3D modeling application that I know of. I can't think of a single application that is more difficult to use for 3D modeling than ZBrush. Oh, probably. But it's mainly because it's not a particularly intuitive application. Don't worry, I'll get these things done at some point. Imagine not basing camera rotation off of origin. I don't even understand. I don't know. ZBrush is hard. I wish that ZBrush was easier to use. I think that's roughly the right shape. It's almost there. It's like you're trying to cut wood with a hammer. Bro, I can't spell. Yeah, but that's because I'm using ZBrush. I don't think you get it. ZBrush is I actually do find ZBrush very difficult to use. Like I'm not joking. ZBrush is actually the hardest 3D application for me to use. Right? Like straight up, just very difficult. It doesn't make sense to me. Every time I turn around, ZBrush is doing something that is unintuitive to me and makes things more difficult than they need to be. It's why I don't really use the application. It's because it's so fucking difficult to use. But I got the basic shape of my wing. Now I can try and refine it down and get something that I do want. Sorry, not did want, do want. So I can play with this. This is not the right way to make a wing. Well, I'm making it in ZBrush. There's I would make it differently if I was in a different app. But ZBrush. Gotta do it. I gotta do it in ZBrush. ZBrush practice. You keep missing the point. No? Well, what's the right way to do it in ZBrush? If you say ZModeler, I'm out. Yeah, I'm already out. That's too complicated. This might take longer, but it's less complicated. Maybe you should try this so I can know. No. It's too complicated. I don't know how to use that tool. I don't know how to use those tools. That's up to you, man. You don't have to shout me out. For everybody out there that's part of the programming crew, Don here is a very talented, I guess you're a teacher now, right? But if you want to learn how to sculpt, you should learn how to do things. Mastic script is ultra basic. I don't know. I've come too far. This is getting there. Don the coder? Yeah. For Unreal? No, he's mostly front end web. I do tutorials for Unreal though. They're still fairly new. Like I haven't gotten very far with them yet. but they're coming along. Dawn helps people get into the industry, though. Yeah, I know you're a 5-head. I am not a 5-head. That's not true. Do you know who else is a very talented sculptor here? Well, pretty much everybody else in the chat. Yeah, look. See, he's bragging about how much better he is at this than I am. Oh, what a guy. Look at that. Beautiful. I find that the masking system in ZBrush is really wonky and weird. I don't know. Sculpting's difficult, man. Don, don't make it don't let people tell you it's easy. It's really hard. I'm also angering Aku right now. Oh, I barely know what the fuck I'm doing. We have actual talented people in chat when it comes to this type of stuff, and they're telling me off for not doing it right. Because I'm not doing it right. There's a right and a wrong way to do this, and I am definitely doing it the wrong way. You're literally doing it the hardest way possible. I'm doing it the way that makes the most sense to me. Leave me alone. My headspace isn't where yours is. I don't know if I would call this fun. I don't actually find sculpting particularly enjoyable, to be fair. Like this is actually something that I don't find particularly fun to do as a whole. This has nothing to do with me doing it right or wrong. I just don't. I'm actually not a big fan of working inside of ZBrush. But I want to learn. I want to get better at using ZBrush a little bit because it is a useful tool for very specific things that I don't really do. But it'd be nice to be able to sculpt a bit better. Fucking psycho. Like, I can't help it. My brain works differently than yours. I'm not using a mouse. I'm using a pen. Okay, but I'm at the point now where this is how far I'd be if I used the mask anyways, right? So like there's no difference at this point. It's still going to be a blotchy mess at the end of the day. So there's no point in fixing it. No, it would totally be a blotchy mess. I think that you underestimate how blotchy and messy things get when I use ZBrush. See, for like people like you and Rem, ZBrush is like a fine tool, right? And for people like me, ZBrush is like is like a jackhammer. It's so imprecise and uh offers blobbiness. No matter what I do, it will always be blobby. I could start with the cleanest geo and it would still turn out super blobby. Because for me, ZBrush is just blob tool. It would be nice if it wasn't, but it is a blobby tool. I've brought Geo in to here. Like I brought a dagger into ZBrush to add like I can't remember what I was trying to add. I was adding something small to it and it just turned into a blobby mess. The second I started doing anything with it in ZBrush. I have to be very careful not to really use ZBrush if I want to keep my geo looking. If I want to keep something looking right, I can't use ZBrush. Because no matter what I do, it will always turn into a blobby mess. And it will get rid of all my hard edges. It always gets rid of my hard edges. No matter what I do, it gets rid of all of my hard edges or pointy bits. It drives me up the fucking wall. There we go. Here we go. We're getting there. We're getting somewhere. This is almost good. Well, you start by going to watch his YouTube channel. For your next Pokemon, you should use the extraction tool. What's the extraction tool? I don't know what it is. For my next trick, I will attempt the extraction tool for the next Pokemon. We don't know what it's going to be yet, but the next Pokemon will be using the extraction tool to do something, which I'm not sure what yet. Or even what the extraction tool does, but it does extracting of some kind. I'll make you a deal. I'll make you a deal, Aku. Aku. Fuck, I can't pronounce your name properly. I can only pronounce your real name. Aku's Sarah. Okay, I'm just gonna call you Aku. Unless you're okay with me just using your real name. Because I know Rem uses your real name all the time, but fine, just dox me. It's fine. All right. All right. So I'll make you a deal, James. Um, if you're around for my next Pokemon, I will learn at least one new tool, or I'll learn something new every time I do a Pokemon. Okay? You can guide me. But there is one tool that is completely and totally off limits that I refuse to work with. And I refuse to use ZBrush for polymodeling. So the Z modeler is not on the table. It's the one tool I won't use. So as long as it's not Z modeler, I will learn any tool that you want for the next Pokemon. And you said extract thing, right? I will learn how to use extract for the next Pokemon. I don't know what the next Pokemon's going to be or if it's even going to need extract, but you seem to think it will. So whatever it is, we'll use extract. I'm guessing it's one of those tools that's generic enough and gets used enough that it's probably going to be needed for the next Pokemon. Yeah, it's a good it's a good way, right? And that way I'm not going to be overwhelmed, because right now I don't really have the patience to get into using tools in ZBrush right now that I don't already know how to use. God damn it. Imagine learning, am I right? Hey, I told you I would do it. You just have to be around to teach me, and then I will do it. We'll hop into a chat together and you can yell at me about how stupid I am, yada yada yada, and whatnot, and then we'll learn how to use the extract tool and then call it a day and make whatever fucking Pokemon I end up making next. It will be beautiful and potentially less blobby. It might even have crisp lines in it. We'll make sweet Pokemon together. I think that's good enough. We've got the entire Pokemon. It's beautiful. Look at it. It's amazing. Oh no, we're not done that. I more meant like we're I guess we're done like the base for the most part. You can all write, huh? Oh yeah, I know. I've done it a couple of times so far. I just forget sometimes. Oops. If you're enjoying the stream, oh. Yeah, I haven't done this in so long. Yeah, that's why I stopped. I was just like, wait. This is not right. There we go. Look at that. Now we just have to paint this motherfucker. New folder. Z remesh. High res Pokemon. Wait, now is it just polish that I want now? Oh no, is it smooth or polish? No, it's smooth. Okay, maybe I need to bring down the resolution here. I thought... There we go. Okay. Now we just need to do the colors now. Where's the paint? Here, paint, paint, paint. There it is, paint. All right, we need a blue. Bluish purple, right? Perhaps. You're not wrong. Can't remember. Does that work outside of no, you have to do it inside of here, right? Like you can't just be like, yeah, it won't let you. The problem is that I don't actually. Is it V? Why is this not working? I don't actually have the image on my computer is all. So it's always, I don't know. ZBrush is lacking in certain areas that I don't think they're ever going to actually fix because a lot of people don't find them to be problems. Just me. All right, have a good one. Okay, so now I want black. And we want a gray. I could, but I kind of don't want to. This is actually a good learning experience for me. Like I mean like actually trying to pick colors. So I kind of want to do this. I don't think I like this color though. I kind of want to do this what would be considered the hardest way possible. As I try and pick the right color. I think this is better. Yeah, this seems better. Hey, is the back of Zubat's wings, are they does this part here show through? It's not about, I am actually learning something. I'm actively in the process of learning something. I'm aware. I've brought images into ZBrush before and used them for color reference and other things. It's not a problem trying to do it. It's that I don't want to do it for this. I want to try and hand pink these colors. I actually want to do to do it this way for different reasons. because I think that is a useful skill to try and match colors by eye every now and then, even though I'm not doing a very good job at it. That's it. That is really cool though, that Z color thing. Oh, it's because it's not default, dude. It needs to be default. Default is king. If something's default, it will get used a lot. And if it's not default, it won't get used a lot. So like, for example, in Unreal, the enhanced input system is far better than the regular input system. But nobody used it because it wasn't default. Or I shouldn't say nobody. A lot of people didn't use it because it wasn't default. So it never made it into tutorials and stuff like that. So it was like really, really not well documented by the community. And because it wasn't well documented by the community, people didn't use it. And people didn't use it because it wasn't well documented by the community, because it wasn't default. So as of 5, it is now default, and we're starting to already see a lot more tutorials about it. Wait, it is? I thought this was different. Yeah, no. The Z color thing isn't that different. It's not default. It's not right there. Okay, so this is going to be darker. Man, that one's too dark. That looks about right. Look at that. It's beautiful. No, not that. Look at that, it's beautiful. I really like my Zubat. What do you guys think? Little Coffee Bean doesn't like the fact that I don't have the right colors. What is it? You said it was Z color? Uh, there's Z color. Why isn't this the default color picker though? No, it is cool. It just sucks that it's not the default. I think that they should really start adding these cool things as defaults. It should be this should like if I click here, it should open to Z tools. I think that should open to the Z color, right? That'd be dope. The fact that this isn't the default like this Z tool isn't the default color picker is kind of stupid because it's like actually cool. But then they hide it away in a hidey hole and then people don't use it. It doesn't matter. I don't know. I think that's a poor excuse. New folder. What's the thing to move all of them? Is this it? Yeah, there we go. No, that doesn't move all of them. Why isn't this moving all of them? Yeah. I don't know. I think they should make cool things default and fade away with is it this one? Oh yeah. There we go. They should make more cool things the default instead of less cool things the default. Do, do, do. Yeah. There we go. Who did it better? Obviously mine's better. Oh. Now put it next to the ditto. Maybe I might. I think I have to redo the ditto. Document. What was it? It was 41, right? Yeah, 41. There we go. Beautiful. Now I can officially say that I did a Pokemon today. And want to try a thing? Not at the moment. I'm gonna call it a day. I need to go eat something before I go to the movies. We can maybe try a thing tomorrow. Oh, wait, no. Tomorrow I'm gonna go get a haircut and stuff. Oh, maybe. We'll take a look at it tomorrow, maybe. I think I should be on after I get back from the mall tomorrow. I got some running around to do before I head out to Finland next Saturday. Got like 1 week left now to finish getting ready for my trip. All right, I will see you all later. Well, you'll probably see me coffee before I head out. I head out on the 17th.